Really quick, before we jump into today's episode, I want to introduce you to me and my podcast. So I'm Dylan. This is Behind the Bill. I interview small business owners because I love small business. I think it's a great opportunity that we have to take our future and our careers into our own hands and hustle and build a business. And there's no better way to learn how to do that than interviewing other people that are in the hustle every day doing this. If you're interested in learning more about me, Behind the Bill, or my business that I run, you can go to infactodigital.com. We make it super simple for small business owners to get online without even needing a computer. Again, if you are interested in that, please go to infactodigital.com to learn more. Also, I would love to hear what you think about this podcast. I want to make this as good as possible, so please let me know what you think. Again, honesty is the key, so leave a review, and I will make this the best that I can. Well, thank you so much for giving me this time, by the way. It's much appreciated.
You're welcome.
I know you're busy doing normal life and business and all of that stuff, so it doesn't go unappreciated for you to do this. So why don't you go ahead and tell me who you are and what your business is?
So my name is Nicole Willis, and I'm a licensed esthetician. I've been in business since 2002. And then in 2019, I opened a co-op of other beauty and wellness professionals.
Okay, so what does that mean? Like, what do you guys do?
So a co-op is we share space. This provides a space more so for women to be able to have a storefront that maybe they couldn't have on their own, as well as for our local crafters who make jewelry, candles, a lot of made in Oklahoma items. So anyone who participates in being part of the co-op gets to run their own business, but be also a part of a group versus just being maybe by themselves in an office building or only getting to take their products to local fairs. It gives them a boutique to put their products and a place to call home to do their services.
How does that work from like a business perspective? Do all of these smaller vendors like pay a rent or like a membership fee?
The service providers rent space. They rent a room like one that I'm in, similar to that. The boutique is consignment. So there is a consignment agreement set up between the vendors and the co-op. So they don't have to pay for space. They pay when their items sell.
Oh, okay. So you can get into this co-op and then you just pay a commission. I'm totally ignorant to this, so I'm just asking from
Yeah. So
totally ignorant.
there's some places that require rent space, whether you sell something or not. As far as products go, and at the co-op, you can be a very micro company and bring your product line and sell it here. If it doesn't sell, you're not out any money. If it does sell, you pay your portion. Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
it gives
yeah, that makes.
the um, to get their product in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a fair or a farmer's market, I mean, you're paying up front whether your sales are successful or not. At least here, you can kind of put your stuff out, test your products, and
Yeah,
you get to do it pretty much risk-free.
that's pretty cool. That's like a no-brainer. It's a very low risk, and you get to kind of see if you can get some customers. How'd you get into that? So you started. Let's go back. You at your core, you're an esthetician. Am I saying that right?
Esthetician. Close.
Esthetician. Okay. Yeah. Explain. Sorry if you can hear my dog shaking around back there. Explain like what that entails. Like what'd you do and how'd you get into that?
So I'm in the beauty and spa
Right.
industry. I do skincare.
Mm-hmm.
My aesthetic business is called Eyebrow Studio and Skincare. So I specialize in eyebrow design and skincare. I also do makeup. Um, and I've been doing this for 25 years.
Wow.
So it goes back to when I was 15, and I was at a family reunion, and I met my mom's second cousin, and her and I were talking, and she kind of got the gist of like my interest,
Yeah.
and she was like, "You'd make a great esthetician someday." I'm like, "What is that?" And she told me what it
Hmm.
is, and I thought, "Wow, that seems pretty cool." Um, it was a newer industry back then, and so I was deciding between doing dental hygiene or aesthetics. I'm glad I chose aesthetics. It's fun. I do
Yeah.
similar every day, but my schedule is also different. I get to do different services. Um, so I became an esthetician in 2000
Okay.
and started there. My journey into becoming a business owner, I think I always knew I wanted to do it. I
Hmm.
would sketch out ideas. I think if you're an entrepreneur, um, you have like ideas all the time popping around and you write it down and people think you're crazy. Because I remember starting Eyebrow Studio and even my dad, like, how do you think, like, how are you going to get customers? Like, this is weird. And,
Yeah.
uh, but now eyebrows is a pretty big thing.
Hmm.
I think an entrepreneur, you're kind of a visionary, you know? So 25 years ago, it was a weird idea to specialize in eyebrow design. And now there's Anastasia Beverly Hills and there's brow bars and so forth. So
Hmm.
um, my original goal was to franchise my business, but it was so early on, it was hard to sell that concept to people who could help me franchise the eyebrow studio. So I didn't take it that direction. Never know. Could happen in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just always, I think, knew I wanted to have a spa.
Yeah.
And then how I got started is I worked for other spas. You know, you start there, you work for other spas. And this is kind of a long story, though. Do you actually want a
No, this is
long
great.
version?
Go. This is the reason we do
Okay.
this.
But what made me jump off the cliff and do it
Yeah.
is actually for a local spa. And I take a more holistic approach to skincare. I'm not a big like chemical advocate. So anyway, this spa owner brought in a brand new skincare line. And from a business perspective, I understand that she wants the product pushed, but at the same time, it was brand new to me. It had parfum in it, it had mineral oil, things that I wouldn't want to put on my client's skin, but I didn't really know about it. Anyway, she set me up and had one of her friends come in and asked me to do a facial for her. Like I didn't know she was being sent in. And so what I told the client is, this is what I know about. I know this product line really well. I don't really know about the other product line. Like I know this one. And would it be okay if I offered you this facial instead of the one you're asking about? And so she agreed and she got the facial and she bought all the products. The next day I come in and I'm being asked to come to the office, told that I was set up and told I'm not a team player and asked to leave. Even though I was the top esthetician, top in sales, would help teach other estheticians and hairdressers how to sell because a lot of people at that time didn't see the value of selling products because they only got 10%. However, I'm like, but it's like, an extra $100, $200 in your pocket. Like if you are, helping your client by giving them the right skincare products and the right hair care products. Because I don't see sales as trying to be pushy or trying to force somebody to buy something. I see it as helping somebody because my knowledge and my the products that I choose to use, I know is going to help my client achieve better skin. So the owner, who wasn't a beautician, only saw dollar signs, and so she didn't like that. So Anyway, so that jump off the cliff, I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go do this now. So I opened my studio in my home. And so I would call myself like a shoestring type of business at the time. And I worked part time for a makeup company, and then I worked part time in my business. And then eventually, my business allowed me to quit that part time job, and I moved into my first office building. Then, after that office building, I got to move into a multi room office building and hire my first employees. And then moved from there into a big shopping center next to a super Walmart and have like a full operating, salon and spa. So that's the start of it.
Yeah, I have a couple questions if you're okay, and then we can
Sure.
go to the next part because I feel like uh, that's a lot. So you're working for them. It really was just like a mismatch of how the business should be ran or how you should do it. Um, Sometimes it's nice to be able to get away from that. So that's nice that you were away from that and you didn't just you're not still there. A lot of people would still be working with people like that they aren't in total agreement with because it's a job. So that's pretty cool that you took the leap or jumped off the cliff. However, how you said that, that's pretty cool.
Sometimes, like disappointment, like if you're disappointed in where you work or you're really stressed out and you take that leap, then you can find yourself doing something that you love. And I
Hmm.
don't feel like I work. Like this
Yeah,
is fun. I mean, I enjoyed my type of work, even though I was working for someone else, but you get a little bit more freedom working for yourself.
yeah. So at this point, you took that leap, knowing that you were going to start your own thing. You take a job. Was this a full time job or a part time job?
Part time.
Part time. Okay. So you're doing a part time job plus starting your business out of your house, and then you build enough business to do it full time and get an office building, and then you're hiring your first people. What what were those first employees like? What was your first employee's role?
Well, there were other technicians, so
Okay.
massage therapist and other esthetician.
Yeah. Were you so with the massage therapist? You were expanding your offerings. Was that your first hire, or was it kind of like everybody? You hired like three people up front. Like, how did that work? Do you remember your very first hire,
Well, the
or was it like
first,
a subcontractor type of thing? Like you can kind of have this part of the office to do your own thing.
so they are a subcontractor,
Mm-hmm.
but you pay them like commission.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how typically you either rent a room or you
Yeah.
are a subcontractor
Okay. So
typically.
you. Okay,
Um,
that makes sense.
have some employees that were employees like for the receptionist. So it's a
Yeah.
little bit,
Sure.
yeah, this type of model.
Okay, so yeah, I'm following there more. So more of the practitioners were um, essentially renting some a spot from you or like 1099s, and then you did have a receptionist. You eventually did hire a receptionist who was like an employee for you.
Yes, but people didn't rent from me back then. They were just
Oh,
commission.
okay.
Yeah.
Just commission. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. That's cool. Um, what do you have to say? So a lot of people starting their business um, are really reluctant to hire or to relinquish control. Um, did you struggle with that at all? Did you worry at all? Like, I'm not going to find somebody that can, care as much as I do. Did you struggle with bringing on those people, or were these people you already trusted? How was that experience for you?
These are people I just advertised in the newspaper back when there was newspapers back in
Yeah,
my day,
yeah,
you know.
back in your day.
Um, but I think in my industry, the technician is also building their clientele. So of a partnership than an employee. Like a receptionist, usually look for somebody who's upbeat and positive versus, having to drag people along. I mean, having employees, even if they're commissioned, it can still be challenging because you need them to show up for a book of clients. It depends how you run your business because it's the model I'm in now is completely different. Everybody's independent. It really doesn't matter how they, run their schedule because it doesn't reflect on the co-op or kind of like a salon suite type of space, but with an advantage of working together in a cooperative.
Okay, yes, that's a fairly it's a fairly at least in my world a unique setup. I know that there's a lot of businesses set up like that. Um, so that's interesting. I have a random weird question, little off topic, but it may be interesting. So you do eyebrows. Why do you think people decided that, like, the shaping of eyebrows and stuff is so important? Like, do you have some thoughts on that?
So your eyebrows are your expression and it's part of your first impression. It's a part of your micro body language. So if somebody comes in and tells me that they're not really received well by people, people think that they are harsh. A lot of times their eyebrows give that. And if they already have a strong personality, their eyebrows plus their personality makes them seem like maybe over the top. You soften that, let them keep their personality, and they're received better. So it's more about like the impression that you're making, the expressions that you're making, and it does make a difference.
Where else? Where else is there besides eyebrows that, like, you can kind of make it a little softer, like classic, like RBF? Like, it's just like, why are you always angry? It's just like, it's just my face. That's how I how I look. Is there anything else besides the eyebrows?
I mean, eyebrows play a really big role. It can make people look sleepy, angry, confused. Because a lot of times when we're talking about women, a lot of women just tweeze their own eyebrows and they're not putting them in the correct place. So you have a constant expression on your face, whether you're resting or not, whether you're smiling or not. Here's your expression because you've shaped your brow into an expression that might be unfavorable. So there's definitely a lot more psychology behind eyebrows.
Yeah, I think that we're always taking in subconscious, like, eyebrows raised, I'm interested, or frowned, or everything like that. So that's yeah. I wanted to hear that from you because I have thoughts and stuff, and that's part of your job. So I thought I had you here, and I thought it'd be cool to hear your perspective and insight on that. Um, because yeah, uh, RBF is a real thing, and it's like, why are you angry? I'm not angry. It's just my face. Uh,
And as far as skincare goes, having a relaxing facial muscles, people don't realize what their resting face is doing while they're thinking. They're not rest position, they're in like a scowl for thinking. And so helping people become aware through skincare treatments how they hold their facial posture because you're also giving an expression with your facial posture. But it's not something we tend to think about.
that's all. I love getting into tactical stuff like this. It's very cool. Probably maybe it is not a popular thing for a guy my age and like me to get into, but I think it's interesting because it is like just how humans interact with each other and how you can uh, kind of alter and um, I don't want to say manipulate, but that's kind of what I want to say.
Well, you're putting your forward, and men do get their right well because for lots of reasons. One, looking groomed, um, whether or not are your hair's tidy or your hair's tidy. If your brows are tidy, then you still look put together. So that one little thing, if you have, like I said, like a bedhead day, you're still going to look more presentable because your eyebrows are crisp.
My mom, when I was growing up, don't tell anybody, this is a secret. My mom, when she was growing up, practiced her eyebrow plucking on me uh, when she was doing cosmetology school. So I have had she didn't she just did very basic stuff, but I've suffered the eyebrow trimming. It wasn't that bad. But
And I don't think it's really taboo anymore for men room. Everybody has eyebrows. Everyone has expressions. Everybody has skin. Men need to know how to take care of their skin as well. In the past, it seemed like it was a feminine thing to do, but not feminine to take care of your appearance when you want to make a good impression.
yeah, yeah. I'll have some more questions. I've thought of some questions related to this, but I don't want to get into it yet. I want you to finish. That's going to be a teaser. Keep listening. But I want to go further into this story, assuming there's some more. Where we were talking about how you had just got the office space. I think, did you say you were upgrading the office space? You moved to a different one with more offices
It seemed like
after you would hire.
every year or two, I would, like a hermit crab, moving into a new,
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Yeah.
yeah. And so eventually we ended up by Super Walmart, just
Mhm.
in a strip mall next to Cato's when there was Cato's back then, and Payless Shoe Store, and
Yeah.
all the that we made it.
Yeah. And so you do that for a while. So what's in the gap between that and the co-op that you're running today? Like what happened after that?
So at the time, I was wanting to franchise my business, and I was meeting with franchise people, mostly men, who couldn't really understand where I wanted to take it and where the industry was going to go. And then I did meet with somebody in Tulsa that kind of helped people maybe do chains, and also was a no from him, except for his secretary who was taking notes was overhearing, and she was like, "Oh, I think this is a great idea. I think we should do that." So in addition to be shut down multiple times, somebody was willing to give me an opportunity. But then I found out that I was pregnant with my third son, and that kind of shifted things for me. And I was more focused on family than pursuing that. It had been almost 10 years since I had a baby. So I was like, oh, okay. So then from there, I think business owners will can relate to this if they've been in business long enough. I had my baby and I was on maternity leave. And unfortunately, the people that I had hired at the time, I did not know this, but they were stealing, and our numbers started to go down. And I had to get off maternity leave early, go back, fix things up. I was heartbroken because when you are an entrepreneur and you create something from the ground up, I mean, it's pretty much your heart and soul. And so I was really heartbroken, fired all of them, hired new people, started rebuilding. And I think I was just tired. I shut down the big shop and I moved into an office. That way I could just focus on doing my work and taking care of my kids and being really present with my newborn. And so I went into an office building for about 10 plus years. And then I was ready to open a bigger business again, but with a different model in mind. I can't tell you like why it came to me to have a co op. It just did. Like when you're creating something and then it starts to gain momentum. And I thought this would be really cool to have a space for other women to be able to support their families without having to figure out how to get into a nice space by themselves, because for most people that's not going to happen. But if I create a space that other people can come in, rent, be independent, so that way I don't have the burden of having the employees have to micromanage people, because when you work with other business owners, they care about their business. And then I liked the idea of creating a space for people who are trying to create products and get them out in front of people and have like a storefront instead of only having the farmer's market, which those are too, but your clients have to wait a week or till the next season to get your products when you can just go down the street and pick up your favorite coffee
It's that, or you have to really hustle and try to get into some local retail stores, which there's a little coffee roaster where I'm at that is doing that, but they're, 15 years in. It took them that long to start to get into retail. Uh, so that's really cool. So the co-op was really, you wanted to build something again, and you had some bad experiences with employees for sure. And this was, so you're kind of the vehicle around, or not the vehicle so much as like you're giving these other very small business owners a chance, really, to put their stuff in front of customers. Is the storefront like in like a good downtown area? Does it get a lot of foot traffic?
So we are off of the main road, our town. So the co-op, the items are mostly sold to the customers that we have. Like I personally cannot take walk-ins. A lot of us are so booked, we don't really take walk-ins. If your product is here at the co-op, it's our customers that know, like, and trust us that your products are going to be in front of.
So it's not as much relying on cold foot traffic and walk-ins as much as like this is just, it's a physical location for these people who already have like a book of business for them to run their business, and it's a lot less risky than having to pay a rent at their own big place. They get to kind of split that with a bunch of other small business owners.
Right. But then we also kind of cooperatively work together. If someone's like, oh gosh, like I'm struggling with this, like, oh, then you could idea, well, have you done your newsletter? Are you part of the loyalty program? So you get to bounce ideas and help grow at the same time.
Can you think of any specific examples of that happening? Like maybe it was you, or maybe one of the other business owners that were really struggling with something like specifically, and then everybody was kind of able to come together and help with that. Do you have any examples of that, or a good story you could share?
Well, when people first move in, if they don't have a full book of appointments, like I have a young 20-year-old that I think she's 20, she might be 21 now, but she's across the hall and she's newer at starting her business. So myself and the massage therapist who's also been doing her business for like 15 years, I think. Um, we just rally behind her and tell her what works for us, what we think she should be doing. Whether somebody does it or not, that's up to them. But we just freely give information. A lot of people are like, oh, you should charge for this. But a part of a cooperative is you're not, you're just doing it. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing a charity because my personality is to have harmony and everybody can be successful. Everyone can have a piece of the pie because you really can. So if somebody comes in and is worried. I've had this happen before. Like, oh, is there other estheticians here? I'm like, yeah. Well, I mean, that wouldn't that take away from my business? No. Can you serve the whole state of Oklahoma? No. So, there's room for everyone to be successful. You just have to be good at building a clientele and creating rapport and be good at your job where people want to come back to you specifically.
Yeah, it's when you said that, I immediately started thinking of like a hair salon, and it's like, oh, you're gonna go, you rent a booth, and it's like, oh, you're gonna rent a booth in a building where there's seven other people doing hair, and it's like no one would ever think that's a bad idea. That's just how it works, and person A has their client group, person B, and like it's not like they're just stealing each other's clients. Like it works.
And taking it one step further, it's how even big business does it. If you
Yeah.
notice there's a and CVS next to each other. You are getting warm clients because I don't mind actually sending my clients across the hall. She is the esthetician. She does some things similar, some things not, but I don't do spray tan. I don't feel threatened to send my client to get a spray tan um, because I've had a rapport for years with a lot of them. And I know the quality of my work and I know that they feel comfortable with me. So I don't feel scared to share my with people who do something different.
Yeah. And there's, especially in your world or any really service base, like everyone, you can have two electricians, for example, and they serve two very different types of people. One may be based on volume and they have a lower rates, and another one is, you know, doing big jobs. And then, like you said, someone may be an esthetician, may be focused on eyebrows. Like she's the eyebrow lady. You need your eyebrows, you go to her. Versus like so and so does spray tans, and that's their big thing. Or um, probably probably a whole world just for like men who care about their eyebrows and stuff. I almost went into beard and stuff, but we got barbers. But even like different barbers do different types of things. Like I go to a barber, and I don't care as much about this as this. Like there's different barbers for different things, and it depends on my needs. As my beard and hair versus Bobby down the road has a completely different need.
Right. Everybody specializes in something different. Out of everybody here, I'm the only one really who has worked with competing professions. Haven't had more than one massage therapist at a time or more than one hair person at a time. It's been estheticians. And I know that there's been a time where the massage therapist was like, oh no, is another massage person's going to come in? Like, but why would that matter? You're booked. Like I've worked with plenty of estheticians, and I mean, I'm still working. Like, there's room for one. And I think sometimes that capitalistic mindset, you get distracted that you can work together and still be successful. People specialize in different things. Like one of the estheticians, she specialized in fake lashes. You know, she specializes in spray tans and specializes in eyebrow design. Um, and there was multiple massage therapists. The one that's here, she specializes in like very therapeutic, deep tissue, like getting your range of motion type of massage, not necessarily quiet, tranquil massage. It's like going to go after you. Um, and like there's room for everybody.
Yeah. Um, in our small town, there's a bunch of little like small businesses around here, and you can get on the Facebook group and hear what everybody's doing. And there was one family-owned coffee shop that kind of was the place to go, and another one moved in, and people were saying, "Oh my gosh, what's it gonna do to Brewhaw? That was the original one. What's it gonna do to them whenever this one comes here? It's in a better location." People are saying there's too many coffee shops in this small town. You know what? That new coffee shop did a loyalty program. They did a punch card, and you buy so many lattes, you get a free latte. And the original coffee shop never had a loyalty program. Didn't have to. But now that this new coffee shop moved in and they have a loyalty program, now the original coffee shop added a loyalty program, and it's like 20% better than the new place. And so, what people don't realize, uh, and it's hard for the business owners because competition, like, I think the hardest part about being an entrepreneur is the volatility, and there is no paycheck on Friday unless you go out and work for it. But from the consumer side, the consumer will win because you know you feel like the pretty girl at the dance who doesn't have a date. Everybody wants you, right? And the consumer gets that when there's now two coffee shops competing for their dollar. And so, um, all that to say, like progress is built on that kind of competition. It doesn't have to be ugly. Like these two coffee shops, like they're cordial. They um, I wouldn't say promote each other on Facebook, but they're definitely not, you know, taking stabs at each other. But they are forcing each other to have a better product offering. And I think if you
That's the key.
did get, go ahead.
No, and that's the key.
Yeah.
Becoming better.
Yeah, become better and serve your better customers better, because it's really easy to be the only coffee shop in town and have really bad coffee because there's nowhere else to go. Um, and now there's a Starbucks. Now there's a regional area, and then there's the super local place here now. Yeah, and the super local place has had to step it up, and I'm sure it hasn't been easy. I'm sure um, it's been really tough, but for the consumer, it's been pretty good, and people are still supporting them because they have their unique brand, and so
Taking it out from corporate, I mean, in my mind, when I hear you say, like, oh, these big chains came in, well, do they offer that warm, personal service? Do they own you for 10 years? Do they know you by name? Are they happy to see you? So it's whatever business you're in, what value are you offering? Because it's easy to blame other businesses around you, like, oh, they're going to put me out of business. But what makes you unique that your customers want to come to you? Because my industry has blown up in the last 25 years. I mean, there's so many more estheticians. It was like a, we were all like a small group of pioneers in the beginning. And now people didn't even know what estheticians were. Now they do. I mean, there's every esthetician now. But most of them, I mean, this is what I was told in school, like half of you will go on to have successful careers, the other half of you won't. But what makes the other half not have successful careers and they get a new job within the first year of business? So it's more about you and what value are you offering. So are you in it just for the money? I think if you're in it just for the money, you probably are going to have a little bit more struggle because you're going to be stressed out. If your heart's not in it, then what are you doing? I don't think it's like you're going to be in it for the longevity if it's only about money. I think you have to actually care about your customers and not see them only as a dollar sign, bringing humanity back into business. And I think that's what sets small business apart from corporations, because a corporation is its own entity. It's a non-breathing entity. It's not human. It does not care about the human. It only cares about the dollar signs. That's why they make decisions that are not necessarily best for customers or their employees, because it's all about numbers. Versus small business, it's about connection. It's about that warmth. It's about humanity. It's about community. And I think when you're a small business, you have something very valuable to offer. And it's like, how can you tap into that and create your own community within your business and with your customers?
I totally agree with you. I've been a big small business guy the last couple of years, like just been really into it and looking at the economical importance. I meant that sounded a lot more snooty than I meant it to. Like I'm not like a an intellectual guy. I'm not. I don't think that way. But like ultimately, like there is a big not only responsibility for people if they have some kind of entrepreneurial itch to follow it, but it's like it's an important part of our society. And I think it's just because as I've been around, I guess, just life and experienced big business versus small business, and what the small business is willing to do to help you out versus like um, you're just the big business, you're just a number. And so that's been a uh, really important part of my life the last couple years. So I appreciate you kind of uh, touching on that. I have a question related to you talked about community and kind of building a community around your business. Like, what kind of like tactical advice, what kind of tips can you give somebody who, maybe they're running a semi productive, successful business, but like that community aspect just isn't there? Like, I think that the community aspect will like give you potential to grow if you're not doing it. But like, what can somebody do to really cultivate that culture? Like, what kind of things can they do in their storefronts? with their communication? Like, what can people do to really make their business feel like a safe community for their customers?
I think it depends what type of business you have.
Sure.
But one,
Well, talk
I
to the 20-year-old girl who is starting, what you're doing, who is really excited, loves to serve people, but just like doesn't know where to start. Like she's maybe got a book of business, but there's not much community there. They show up and that's kind of it.
well, you know, I can only speak to what I do. Uh, there's no strategy behind it because you just need to be authentic and be your be yourself. Really connect with your customers. I mean, I've had customers with me for over 20 years. So they become like family. And you watch people grow up when they came in with their mom when they were like 5, and now they're graduating high school or they're in college or now they're married. So in my industry, it's probably easier to build a rapport with people, but you ask questions. You learn about them, you ask about their life. You don't really just indulge and talk about yourself. You really invest your interest in your clients. And I think that is with anything that you're selling, you have to know your customer. You have to know who you're selling it to. You have to know that what they like, what they dislike. I remember in a training that I took at the makeup company where it was a big corporation and you are selling products and you do have like a quota. And one of the selling techniques there is, well, the practice was there was a list, you have a partner, and there might be like potato chips, peppermint, those mint peppermints, junior mints, yeah, junior mints, and maybe some other like pretzel or something. And your job is this person's going to pick one on the list, and your job is to ask the right kind of questions. And at the end of asking all those questions, you are going to suggest one of the treats. And if you ask the right questions, you're going to give them the exact product that they will personally enjoy. So it's not about what you think that they should have or what you think they should do. It's about, do you know what they want by asking the right type of questions? And so doing that, I think in addition, you just naturally connect with people.
Yeah, so it's about not leading the conversation in the direction you want it to go, but leading the direction to find what it is the customer actually needs or wants.
Right. From a sales perspective, but the rapport, like how have you been this week? What'd you do over
It's
the
the
week?
same concept. The conversation should lead to like them. People, yeah, they want to I don't want to say talk about themselves, but like they're coming in as a customer to you, like you have an obligation to serve them and the conversation should serve them.
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head, right? Just serve your customers, but as people and not a number. And like think about like Netflix when they first started, they really served the people and everyone's like, yeah, we're getting cable. And now it's like, oh, we're raising the fee. We're raising the fee. We're raising the fee. We're so big now. You need us. And forgot about, oh, like it felt like us against them being overcharged for things. Does that make sense? And then that human aspect out of it. I know prices have to raise and stuff like that, but they definitely don't feel like that warm company that they used to be. So Amazon was kind of cool like that too. And then we all are dependent on it, but it definitely does not have the warmth that it used to have. So I feel like I'm a corporate entity and you make everyone a number and you remove the human aspect of it, people feel it.
Hmm. Yeah, people can tell, and I think people's instincts uh, sniff out that stuff a lot earlier than we even realize. Uh,
But they built their
and
dependent on it, so
yeah,
they
yeah,
don't care, you know?
right. Yeah, that's the joy of big business. So so to cap off the business owner side of this, like, do you have any good stories? I ask everybody this. Do you have any good stories of when maybe I guess I'm asking for your spectacular failures or like something that just went horribly wrong that you had to dig yourself out of business wise, um, so that I know what to stay away from in business. Like, what are some of your biggest mess ups, or maybe there hasn't been any big mess ups.
Well, I think a better way to word it for me is life change. Um, Having to work around my family or choosing to work around my family, like banding and then going back down to solo, and then having to work on expanding again. And then I would say the co-op is a trial and error because there's not a lot of business models to mimic. So one thing I've learned running a co-op is a cooperative mind isn't very instinctual because we live in a capitalistic society. So overcoming those challenges with like the group, does that make sense? I'm going to try to explain
So,
it. Um,
uh, zoom in on you said the cooperative mind isn't instinctual. Like, what do you mean by that?
with capitalism, it's about me and mine
Sure.
versus you and me.
Mm-hmm.
We can do this together. We can grow together. We can build something amazing together. We can pull our resources together and
Mm-hmm.
expand. But a lot of people think more narrow and
Mm-hmm.
like, no, it's me. Oh, I don't know if I want to participate in that, even though it would be expansive. When you're just tunnel vision on yourself and what you're doing, it constricts when you can flow and be more expansive and open. My guess is this is probably in 20 years going to be maybe more of a thing where people are more cooperative and kind of figure out like there's a piece of the pie for everyone. For example, this is not technically business, but I saw on TikTok this morning that a lady was like, if 13,000 people gave me $1, I can pay off this car. And then all the people in the comments were like, I can give $1. Oh, I would love that. Oh, I should do this for myself. It's a little micro cooperation there. Like, and someone commented, if everybody did this, there would be no poverty. Everyone would be taken care of. So I think that this type of mindset is still kind of in its infancy, that there is enough to go around and we can share. I think overcoming that challenge where this is just my business and this is what I want to do versus like, this is my business and this is your business. Let's bring that together and let's expand.
So at its core, like instinctually, people want to worry about themselves, and ironically, they would be more fruitful if they were open to more collaboration.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think I believe so too. Life hits people hard in different ways, and so at its core, I think it's just people dealing with their previous experiences and how they react. And I guess that talks about our society historically, that it seems like most people aren't as willing to collaborate because of their past experiences. But I think if it's possible, your 20-year assumption, I mean, I understand that's like a random number, but it's not crazy because I think society and especially business owners are becoming more aware that competition in the right way is good, but this like non-willingness to collaborate is gonna be bad. And I think as we get more used to it and more people are brought up in it, I think it will be a more cooperative world. As long as there's more Nicoles in the world building more of these co-op ideas, and I've seen them. There's a I don't know if they run just like yours, but there are a lot of co-ops in our area where it is like I mean the antique stores have been doing it forever, essentially, but that's a little different. But there are some co-ops where it's kind of they're all themed in the same type of service and they're all in the same building, and so I think we are moving that way.
And there's food co-ops, farmer co-ops, and there's school co-ops now. I think the individual wants to be more empowered to shop local, not be tied have to buy from corporations, but small business has a disadvantage because you can't buy in bulk, so you have to charge more. And then with the economy, people feel like, well, they have to go to Walmart, but if you cooperate and get your supplies together, then you can have that same buying power. So I have to think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah.
Probably it's more ancient than we think to cooperate because we didn't have buildings and businesses. People hunted and gathered and shared. So we're not going to go back to like living outside, but maybe the art of things could become more cooperative.
Yeah, I agree. I think our ancestors were a lot more cooperative. People have been cooperative in the past, but that didn't completely get rid of the fact that like the stronger do prevail, and I think that the stronger were cooperative. And so I guess it just um, depends. I don't know. My brain could go on rabbit trails when it comes to like the anthropological parts of all of this, but um, I like where you're going and how you're thinking about it. Um, so what else? What have I not asked you that you have a good answer for? Like what kind of wisdom do you have for people starting a business or struggling in their business?
So, what I've heard people say over the years is how they want to start a business.
Mm,
Then they make all the excuses
mm,
why they still haven't started their business. And it's been 5 years. And they
yeah,
still want to open it someday, and it's been 10 years. And they still want to open this business, but then they have an excuse, and it's now 20 years. And they never opened their business because XYZ didn't line up. From what I've learned about business, you have to know you have to be comfortable with not knowing where your funding is coming from. I didn't have the funding to open a co-op, but I had the belief I could open a co-op, and I found a way to do it through community funding. So the heart of the co-op was funded by people around the world who do micro loans. So the co-op itself, like I said, the seed of it was cooperative. Those who poured into it had that same mindset. So you don't have to have everything in line. Trying to have everything in line, then you never take the risk, because owning a business, you have to jump off the cliff. And if you can't do it, it'll just stay a dream. And if it that's okay, because you just need to tweak a few things and try again. So you just can't give up. But I think the motivation behind why you want to do something makes a difference if it makes or breaks you. I think if it's only the financial freedom that you think you're going to get, then you're going to be disappointed, because it's going to take a long time to build up your brand. You have to be comfortable with making nothing, keeping that positive mindset that you know it's going to work out. So you have to have a lot of perseverance and belief, and it's okay to not know how it's going to happen. And when everybody around you is like, how are you going to do that? Like, I had someone tell me, like, what if you don't get funded? Because how the funding goes is 20 people have to, that you know in your circle, have to fund $25. And then it's open up to a worldwide platform. And if you don't get funded within a certain amount of time, it's all or nothing. And she was like, what if you don't get funded? And I was like, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But the email said I was 80% likely to get funded. I'm like, I think the odds are pretty much in my favor at that point. But there's still that possibility that I wasn't going to be, but I didn't go, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. Scared. It's like, well, we'll see what happens. And if it doesn't work this way, I'm going to find another way to do it. So you just put on your boots, lace them up, and just get ready to trudge through if you want something.
I often think of starting your own business, especially like leaving a full time job and doing your own business. I think of it as jumping off a cliff too. And the cool thing about jumping off a cliff is you can control how high the cliff is, and you can wear a parachute if it's super high. But everybody assumes to do it right, you have to jump off of a 500-story cliff without a parachute. Like everyone assumes that when if the parachute is like some savings, if it means life has to suck for 6 months and you have to eat only ramen noodles to make your dream come true, like if why would you let that get in the way? Um, and then the other thing I thought of is uh, a real stat is 60% of Americans report that they want to start a business, and only 5% of Americans actually run a business. And out of those 5%, I think 30% exist past the first year. And so, some very tough statistics, but like, how different would that number be if it was more from 5% to like 20% if those people took the plunge and did it? Who knows?
I think people get discouraged from family members. If I allowed people to discourage me, I would have never went out on my own. But you have to not care what other people's opinions are. If they make fun of you, if they question you, it's first of all, it's none of their business. They should be supportive of you. But a lot of people aren't supportive of other people trying to make it come true. But there's other people who are supportive of you. So just tap into who is supportive and just let the rest roll off. You do it imperfectly. You do it without knowing how exactly it's going to be done. You just do the best that you can with getting what you think you need to do and then do it.
Yeah, we for some reason love to hold on to the bad comments, and like I think if you just focus on the good comments and let the bad comments be what they are, I think that people would be more brave. But it's a protective, I think it's a protection mechanism, and it makes sense. But yeah, because I mean, me personally, I've had some really good feedback and some really bad feedback, and whenever you start to decide to actually listen to that good feedback, it's a lot more helpful than, well, sometimes it's good to listen to bad feedback, but I would say, I guess, advice. People discouraging, like, that's just half the story. There's still some people that are going to encourage you through the thing, and those are the harder ones to listen to for some reason. It's easier to listen to the person who says you're going to train wreck.
Well, and they're projecting their fears onto you for it being actually true. So what is what they're saying is true? Sure, anybody starting a business might fail, but you have to, I think it would be a regret not trying just because you people didn't believe in you. Just prove wrong. But I mean, I think it takes a certain mindset. Not everybody is born with an entrepreneurial mindset. I mean, as a little kid, I was drawing pictures and selling them to the store down the street, or like I think I was born with it. Like my youngest son, I wouldn't be surprised if he owns a business someday. He's 9 years old and he grows zucchinis, and he comes into my shop with a basket full of zucchinis. And before that, well, and he still does it, but he makes band bracelets. And I mean, he's made hundreds of dollars selling zucchinis and, and bracelets. But I mean, he's like a natural born entrepreneur. No one's, I mean, I'm sure other people could say this to him, like, how do you know anyone's going to buy your zucchinis? They can buy them at the store. But his selling point is he talks to his plants. He waters his plants every day, and his zucchini is way bigger than the zucchinis at the store, and they don't taste like the ones at the store. So I think some people are just born with it, and I think that's the 5% probably are just born with the ability to kind of future to some degree, like meaning like they can visualize. I just remember walking through the eyebrow studio for the first time, like my big shop, and I'm just like, wow, I'm here. This is what I dreamed about. Just walking down the hall and seeing all the rooms, but I saw it before it happened. And it took years for that to happen. But you have to be willing to be okay with being in an office for a while. Hobby Lobby, they started in their garage framing are making frames. And I love his backstory. He worked at like probably like a nickel store or something like that back then. And he loved going down in the basement and organizing all the products. But he started in his garage and look at Hobby Lobby now. So you got to be willing to start. You got to be willing. You got to be willing to, if your life changes like mine has multiple times, you have to be willing to, you know, maybe downsize for a minute or, whatever you adjust. You need to be adjust. And when the economy will scare you like, oh no, what am I going to do? You just adjust and make it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. I think a really big sign of like, oh, I think I want to do this, but am I one of those people who will succeed? It's for one, you got to try. Like, you can decide if you can succeed. But I think uh, another big thing that you said, and I think is consistent, is like vision. Like, I think entrepreneurs, especially successful ones, success kind of defined by each of them individually, but like having a vision is so important, and having something that you're striving for instead, like, so you actually have a goal and a target. Like, if you don't have a vision and your only vision is just like starting a thing, it's gonna be a lot harder to get there. um,
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
Or vision is just only money in a bank account
Yeah.
and how to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of
You know,
gaps between have $0 and I have $1 million. There's a shorter gap between I have nothing to offer people and I want to offer people something to make money. At least you're starting to fill the gaps. You know,
yeah.
like there is a huge gap between $0 and $1 million versus people want something and I need to fulfill that want.
And I think if you get into something that you truly appreciate,
Hmm.
have better success too.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
You
and
know,
then you will find some people, someone who has done something I really um, like that can be fulfilling. But there's some people who don't get to do like what they like, but the outcome of what they do is what they like. And so I guess finding your why and your purpose. It's like this kind of work is satisfying, and it's likely because of the outcome. The process of doing it isn't as good, but seeing somebody's face light up or hearing somebody's story because maybe in your world somebody reacted to them differently or they just feel better about themselves and they spoke up for themselves when they wouldn't have in other times. Like, that why is really important, and I think that's part of the vision that I'm talking about.
and even if, like you said, they might not like the process, but they might actually really like the process because it's more the strategic strategy behind getting the result. So they might enjoy that aspect of it. So they do like something of what they're doing. I can't imagine it being fun to strategize to get a result if you don't actually like the strategy process. With
Yeah.
getting the results, you have to like something about what you do. Otherwise, you're just gonna be grumpy and you have that energy behind whatever it is you're doing. You can tell when you go into a store if somebody hates their job. I mean, not pleasant to deal with at all, even if they're just checking you out. So, you bring that negativity in business, I don't know if your end result really is going to be very profitable.
Hmm. Yeah, it won't be because you're like it all starts with why. I think that's the most important thing, is like if you can focus on that, like it's really hard to you'll have bad days for sure, but it's really hard to not buckle down and figure out the hard stuff that you don't want to do if you have a good why and you know why you're doing it, you know?
And then that's when you bring in other people too to do things
Yeah.
that maybe enjoy doing. I don't enjoy cleaning, so I have
Hmm.
somebody who comes in and cleans. I
Yeah.
could do it, but I don't want to. I don't
Yeah.
enjoy that aspect of business. It
Yeah.
has to be done. But you can
Yeah.
bring that people on to help you with things that you don't like to do.
Well, that was a super fun discussion on business. I want to talk about super quick some of the aesthetic part of things. So me, just like a guy that kind of cares how he looks. Um, like what kind of things are most people doing that they shouldn't do to have the best skin? Like you look young. I don't know how old you are, but your skin is a great testament to you knowing something. And so what's something people could do?
I'm 47, by the way,
Okay, I was gonna say 35. So
48 in February. So, um, what is something people aren't doing? I don't think people are wearing sunblock.
mm,
I've worn sunblock, I've been an esthetician since my early 20s, and I've been wearing sunblock um, on my skin every day, rain or shine, all year long, winter, summer, spring, fall. So that's an important thing, not only to like prevent skin cancers, especially males, but it also, yeah, sunblock is vital for anti-aging because
uh-huh.
there's photo, which can age you like 10 years. So that's why you could have somebody who's my same age, maybe look 60, if they didn't take care of their skin. But my philosophy on skin is very simplistic. You cleanse, you tone, you moisturize, you use SPF morning and night. SPF obviously during just the day, but you take care of your skin. Your skin's an organ. A lot of people don't really view the skin as like this living, breathing organ. They kind of, oh, we can just slap some stuff on it and it'll be fine, or we can abuse it, it'll be fine. Um, but some very simple, like 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night, taking care of your skin, whether you're a male or female. I mean, I only have sons and they learn how to take care of their skin and they don't have the struggles as everyone else. They don't have to go through acne and, you know, all the skin issues people can have because I've taught them how to take care of your skin. Your skin has to have a specific, where your skin is at a specific pH. So where it gets complicated is Big Beauty. Big Beauty complicates it because, again, it's about the corporation not really caring. Here's some products, they may or may not work. The pH might not be the correct pH for your skin, and that's where esthetician comes in to know what your skin type and your skin condition is and give you your regimen for morning and night. I hope that
Well, what's
answers.
ironic is the big company hires a model who probably has an esthetician to do a commercial for their product, and so you think you're gonna look like her by wearing the thing that they're advertising, but it's probably that model has something custom to her specific skin.
Right. Well, and what's been a disappointment being in this industry is watching Big Beauty do what they're doing. And they're actually, a lot of skincare companies are ruining people's skin to build a perpetual customer. They create a problem, they solve a problem with a product that's going to cause the next problem. And then women just think it's because they're aging. And it's really all the chemicals that are in beauty products because there's an instant gratification mindset, I feel like, with beauty products that this will help your skin look better today. But in 5 years, you're probably going to have this problem because you're using corrective products. You just need to maintain your skin. There's 11-year-olds now trying to anti-age, and it's like, please don't. A lot of people start using corrective products. Why would you start using corrective products? Why wouldn't you just take care of the skin that you have that's already youthful? And then when you are 60, 70, 80, or whenever that time comes that you do need correction, you use the right tool at the right time. But people are using the tools at the wrong time that causes problems. But Big Beauty is going to sell you another solution to that problem. And then you're not going to understand why your skin is just withering away and you're just going to blame it on age. So it's kind of a sneaky thing that they're doing, but I'm only one esthetician to help this small pocket of people. And I noticed that my clients who are around my age or older, who've been following my guidance for 2 decades, they also have good skin.
What tips? Let's start with sunblock. What tips? Because I know that there's a lot of stuff about a lot of the standard sunblocks have a lot of chemicals in them. Um, Even like, do you follow like there's like the estrogens in some of them, like, and then other like high chemicals. Like, do you have a what should you look out for in a good sunblock that doesn't have as much of the chemical stuff?
I mean, there's mineral sunblocks available. That's going to be your best choice, is
Yeah.
mineral.
So look for mineral sunblock. Okay, I think I've heard that before.
And don't just put it on your face. If you're a man, you need to put it on your ears as well, back of your
Mm.
neck, and your neck.
Yeah.
Women need to do their face if their hair's up, do their ears, the back of their neck if their hair's up, but always the chest, the neck, and
Hmm.
the chest.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, how people only took care of their face and then their neck and chest look different.
Yeah. Um, what else? What other products are there besides sunblocks? Like you said, you have like a morning and an evening routine. Um, what's something that people should be doing morning and night?
Cleansing their skin morning and night. So I hear some people say, well, I don't wash my face in the morning, I just rinse it off. But if you understand how the body works during the day, like your skin is, functioning to, well, of course, protect you, but also absorbing nutrients. And at night, it excretes toxins and it's repairing. So when you wake up in the morning, there is a slight film on the face, and it's all the junk that your body detoxed. You can't rinse that off with water. You're going to need to use a little bit of a surfactant to be able to get that off. That doesn't mean it needs to be harsh. During the day, you're collecting a whole bunch of free radicals. You can't see free radicals, but when they're allowed to penetrate your skin, they cause premature aging. So at night when you're going home, if you even for women, they're like, "Well, I didn't wear makeup," but you still have pollution on your face. The free radicals. You need to wash off the free radicals. You can't see it. It's like Horton here's the who, but you gotta, get those free radicals off. And um, most moisturizers, professional moisturizers, have like antioxidants in them. So if you kind of understand like how the body works, what causes aging, it's not just topical, it's also internal. Aging is oxidation, it's the shortening of the telomeres. So if you understand like you need nutrients, vitamin A, C, and E, fruits and vegetables on the inside, and then keeping the proper pH on the outside. This is where it sounds complicated. It's not that complicated, but and just keeping it simple, cleanse, tone, moisturize. But a lot of people have like a 20-step regimen, and it's not necessary. Just cleanse, moisturize, SPF. And then if somebody needs a specialty serum for a skin condition, that's when you add it. Not everybody needs it. So, see, skincare companies probably don't want to hire me because I would only sell you what you need.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, you care about the customer too much.
But you would be my customer for life, and you'd be buying products for
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
You know, so you might not buy 20 things that are going to go under your cabinet, and then you're going to go to
Hmm.
some other store and buy 20 things and put under your cabinet.
Hmm.
You'll have these 3 or 4 things for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And then they get
Um,
tweaked based on
yeah.
skin.
Yeah. You talked about vitamins and what's on the inside. Um, I have folliculitis, and I've noticed that it cleans up a lot better whenever I exfoliate more and whenever I'm eating lower in fat. I don't know if that's for everybody. I've kind of discovered that myself. Like, what have you noticed consistent in people when it comes to like diet and eating? Have you noticed, like, is it like maybe fatty foods, salty foods? Like, what should people stay away from? I've heard chocolate will cause acne before. I don't know. Um,
Um, People have sensitivities. Wheat and dairy are typically big
mm,
offenders for acne. Stress, so you can support your body during the time of stress. Um, Fried food is bad for you in general
yeah.
because it's um, it causes free radical damage.
Yeah.
So trying to reduce that in general because
Hmm.
that's going to body. Folliculitis, though, there is a product for that. I can
Yeah.
tell you it off here, but usually that's going to be more of so we naturally have staph on our
Yeah.
skin, and so there's probably just an imbalance of good bacteria
Mm.
in the bacteria, and
Mm.
so maybe it feels like it's when you eat greasy food, but maybe when you eat greasy food, it's feeding the bad bacteria.
Probably.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a product that can help you with that.
Yeah. Cool. I told my doctor, and he's like, "Well, there's a cream, but it's really rough. You won't like it." And I was like, "I have a problem with doctors, anyways." But yeah, I wasn't wasn't going down that route. Um, but okay, so it's definitely like I'm not trying to be too selfish here, but yeah, it's like some kind of imbalance type of thing, and it's usually diets involved, but there's also like creams and stuff.
Well, it's a holistic. That's why I call myself a
Yeah.
holistic
Yeah.
because it's the inside and out. And so if somebody
Hmm.
comes to me, I can only afford either facials or a product. I'm going to tell you, get the products. Now, granted,
Yeah.
right, it would be more profitable for me to see somebody once a month versus selling them their home care, but I'd rather them have their home care and see me once in a while because what you do to your skin every day is actually what changes your skin. So if you're at home doing everything you've already been doing, you come get a facial, it's going to seem like my facials don't work because what you're doing at home is the problem. And then if somebody has a lot of like a high stress job or they're and a lot of college students have breakouts on their cheeks because that's like a
Hmm.
stress. If you're recommended to take a supplement to help you with helping your body cope with stress, like ashwagandha or a Bach
Yeah.
remedy, if you support your body, then your skin will reflect it. So your skin is usually a reflection of what's going on inside.
Mm. Yeah.
You know, you can't like eat McDonald's every day and expect to have great skin. You need fruits, you
Yeah.
need vegetables. You can't just use skincare products and eat horrible.
Yeah. It's like I'm working out and running and eating 3,000 calories a day. What's my problem? It's the same kind of thing. People
Right,
really want to just treat a symptom instead of like get rid of the symptoms altogether.
right. And I think that's with holistic aesthetics. We look at what
Yeah.
you shouldn't, I don't want my clients to be like chemically dependent. A lot of the skincare industry is a lot of like medications topically. And I mean, I watched my mom go through that cycle. She had terrible skin. And that's one thing people are like, oh, you probably have good skin because it's hereditary. I'm like, my mom had terrible skin, breakouts, she has scars, like,
Yeah.
tons of medication from a dermatologist and her
Hmm.
skin was never clear. And then I see, people repeat that cycle and I try to save them. You can save some and you can't save others because it sounds, I think, sometimes too simplistic to honor the pH of your skin, but your skin is naturally slightly acidic. And there's cleansers out there of pH of 11. That's what you use to strip wax the floor. You putting that on your face. Then it takes about 2 hours for your acid mantle to come back into balance, and then you're susceptible to bacteria for 2 hours. And then you wonder why you're breaking out, but you're washing your face. Or the
Yeah.
woman is listening to the dermatologist who's using like CeraVe, cause you an allergy. That's why they recommend it, but it's not going to have the enrichment of the topical antioxidants that are going to help neutralize free radical damage during the day while you're out and about walking in our polluted air. So, wondering why your daily routine isn't making your skin look like it's healthy or glowing, maybe ditch the CeraVe and use an antioxidant rich cream that's going to support your skin. So, I feel like a lot of us estheticians kind of struggle with that because the dermatologist will say one thing and you understand why they're saying it because there's no fragrance. It's plain. It's not going to like irritate your skin. But is it doing anything else for you? Because there's plenty of products that won't irritate your skin, but also offer nutritional support topically.
Whenever I had acne in high school and blackheads on the nose, my mom was like really wanted to help me figure it out, and we did these like horrible like alcohol wipes essentially, which is like you were kind of reminding me. It's like you're just taking everything off. of your skin
Yeah.
essentially. And there's just like
Right.
we
Yeah.
assumed it was like oil causing it, like you were saying, oil feeding the bacteria, whatever. But it's like
Well,
probably could have
oil
done something different.
causes
But
black, but you want to balance it. You don't want to strip it.
yeah,
So if you strip your skin of natural oil, your body actually will produce even more oil.
mm,
So the key is to have a balance so that your body's not overproducing oil, and
yeah,
then reduce the amount of blackheads that you get. So
yeah,
if you're prone to blackheads, it doesn't mean you won't ever get any. You just won't have very many.
yeah,
You have the right balance.
yeah. Well, that's cool. I love. Um, I'm not as much into the aesthetic side of things, but I do love talking to people who I can tell are passionate and knowledgeable about their field. So I really appreciate you. Can I call you a nerd? Can I say you
Oh
could
yeah,
nerd out on this stuff?
thank you.
uh,
Appreciate it. I,
yeah,
I like reading like reference books about
yeah,
health, and I just like that's the type of stuff I like to read.
hmm,
So like, one time I read the whole book, A to Z Natural Prescriptions, a very thick reference book on
wow,
every, I don't know about every disease, but a lot of different diseases and the vitamins and the herbs that help support the body.
yeah,
And I read it so much that it fell apart.
mm, sheesh,
Oh,
wow, yeah, certified nerd then for sure.
yes,
Yeah, everyone should have something that they're like. If you can't be called a nerd about something, you're just not passionate enough about it. Um,
exactly.
and so that's so cool. I love getting to talk to somebody who is that passionate and knowledgeable in their field. Um, well, Nicole, thank you so much for coming on here. I hope you had a good time. I really enjoyed learning about your world of um, aesthetology. Is that a thing? Is that how you call it?
Aesthetics.
Aesthetics. Okay. I really love learning about your world and then hearing about your experiences in business. You have some great wisdom. I hope that anybody listening to this also gets out of it what I got. Um, so yeah, thank you so much for coming on here and chatting with me. Where can
Thank you.
people find out more about you? Do you got like a business Facebook page? Do you want people to know about you?
I'm eyebrowstudioedmond.com.
Okay.
So if you're local,
Yeah.
um, you do have to pre-book an appointment.
Yeah. She's busy, but you can go to her website and learn more. I'm sure she has somebody she could refer you to if you are interested.
And Facebook and Instagram, I think that's my handle at Eyebrow Studio Edmond. I had to add the Edmond. I was the only eyebrow studio at one time. And
Mm.
then there was an eyebrow studio in Chicago. And then I'd get phone calls from people in Chicago.
Oh
So there's a lot
wow.
now using eyebrow studio by so and so.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're in different states. So I haven't been like, hey, knock it off.
Yeah. Stop. Well, cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. If you're interested in learning more about me behind the bill or my business that I run, you can go to infactodigital.com. We make it super simple for small business owners to get online without even needing a computer. Again, if you are interested in that, please go to infactodigital.com to learn more. Also, I would love to hear what you think about this podcast. I want to make this as good as possible, so please let me know what you think. Again, honesty is the key, so leave a review and I will make this the best that I can.